Russia. 7.5 kilometers, the test, so just about 3 loops of 2.5 kilometers. It's not quite as precise as that, but 2 rounds of shooting. The first visit to the range, the athletes lying down, aiming at the target 50 meters away. The second visit to the stadium, standing up. So away goes Olga Mельник, who's in quite good form. She's 5th in the overall World Cup ranking so far after 3 individual races. The openers in Östersund over 15 and 7.5 kilometers, and also the 15-kilometer test, the individual test earlier this week. And Mельник just going up the trail in 2nd place in Sweden. Now Francesca Müller for Switzerland. The Swiss yet to prove themselves in this particular discipline. And there's the famous Hольmenkollen hill. As you can see there, not a great deal of snow. But these tracks, new tracks this year, regarded as very, very tough. A lot of the racers on Thursday were finishing very, very tired indeed. These tracks are made from real snow. As Sonia Mihokova of Slovakia gets away from Liptovsky, this 24-year-old who produced a wonderful performance on Thursday, finishing 3rd. And that was a very, very good performance by Mihokova. First of the Latvians, Angela Brice. And this race today should take each of these competitors in the order of some 23, 24 minutes. And it really is a sprint. There's a very little chance for mistakes. But mistakes in this range, at the shooting range, instead of the 1-minute penalty added for every missed shot to the running time of the competitor, if you miss a shot in the sprint, you have to ski a penalty loop of 150 meters. Luisa Noskova for Russia, currently 22nd in the World Cup rankings, finished 10th. That wasn't a bad effort over 15 kilometers, dropped 3 shots. But for that, she might have won the race. The yellow bib of the World Cup leader, Germany's Уши Dizlь, the 25-year-old border guard who travels some 300 kilometers a day to do her training when she isn't racing, down to the German Biathlon Center at Ruhpolding, which next year will play host to the World Championships. Finished 4th over 15 kilometers on Thursday, having dropped 3 shots. And in Östersund, the first sprint of the season, finished 6th, dropped a couple of shots on that occasion. Ann Brian, the World Cup champion of last season, next to start. Didn't have a very happy Thursday, dropped 5 shots. She was in 9th place in the end. And had she shot clean, which nobody did actually on Thursday, well, she would have quite comfortably won the competition. Conditions on Thursday like today, look at those flags on the pole there, absolutely no wind, and the range here is in the shadow of the hill, so well protected, but it's the toughness of the trails that got everybody working a little bit too hard. And particularly when they came into the range on the 15 kilometers for the 4th time, the fatigue was really playing its part. An awful lot of people gave away shots at the last visit to the range. So just away, Eva Hakova of the Czech Republic. And now Eva Skodreva for Bulgaria from Samakov. Skodreva just in the top 30 in the world last season, but well out of the points in Östersund, not very quick over the snow, and she dropped a couple of shots at the range, both standing up in her case. For Norway, this is Annette Sikveland, currently just inside the top 20 in 18th place overall. Not a bad race here around the Hольmenkollen, over 15 kilometers, finished 8th, dropped 3 shots, 2 lying down and 1 standing up. but 3 misses, very expensive. Member of the Norwegian team who last year, or last season I should say, in Anholz at the World Championships, took the gold medal. Goes out of the stadium, and then after the first couple of 100 meters, they're already on the climb. Voropianova, Tatiana for the Ukraine, 22-year-old. And this young woman who finished 22nd, in fact, in Östersund over the first sprint, got some World Cup points. But again, her position affected by missed shots. Margarita Dulova for Kazakhstan, 28th at the moment in the rankings, 21st in Oslo, I should say Östersund on the sprint. All of these racers getting away at 30-second intervals. There are 85 to start, so quite a big field. So one of the Polish squad now, the 23-year-old cook, Halina Piton. Few points in Sweden on the opening sprint, 25th. She's been on the Polish team for some 5 years now. Isabella Danilo for Poland, her teammate. Oh, that is Isabella Danilo. That's not the right caption. It is number 14. Remember, carrying the magazines of bullets in their rifles, which weigh about 3.5 kilos. And into the range comes the first of the biathletes, Melnik. So lying down, target 50 meters away, width of the target 45 millimeters. Think of the top of a Coke can, that's what she's aiming at. Controls the breathing. Melnik, 5 out of 5, squeezed away nice and quickly. They try to get the shots away in under 15 seconds if they can. Comes round and we'll get a guide for those that follow now. Melnik's a very good pathfinder. It's excellent that she's starting first. It'll give us a good guide to the race. 7:41.2. And the next into the range, Mihokova. Mihokova from Liptovsky. You can see that good brace position. She's set up with her elbows, the rifle tucked well into the shoulder. This is much better shooting. And Mihokova gets a clean sheet as well. So 7:36 chasing the time of Melnik. So coming up to the line, goes out on the stadium. Remember, as I said, if you miss a shot today, it's a 150-meter penalty loop. Mihokova with just under 10 seconds to make up on Melnik. Now Уши Дизль. Unclips the sight. One caps it. Remember, as they come down into the stadium, coming down a little hill, you've got to control their breathing, bring the pulse rate down, and try and be steady as a rock as they aim at this target. Good start. Dizlь, the world silver medalist. And that's a good start for her. So now Dizl chasing Melnik on the clock there. You can see she's got 30 seconds or so to be on terms. Gets the poles organized, comes round the bottom turn, double sticking out. And Уши Дизль looking to improve on her 6th place in the opening sprint of the season. 10 seconds, her advantage on snow. Well, this young woman's obviously looking forward to a race in good spirits. Let's hope she does a little better than she did in Sweden. She was outside the top 70, lost 3 shots. Hungarians, like 1 or 2 other teams, not yet on terms with the powerhouses of Germany, Belarus and France. Brigitte Weissleitner, the Austrians with a little better sponsorship this year, and that certainly is beginning to make the difference for them. Brigitte finished 23rd in Sweden, but she was one of only 3, I should say, who shot clean, 10 out of 10. So needs to improve her cross-country skiing. Now Ina Sheshikil, really interesting competitor. This confused me. Irena Novotna, this is. Ina Shekil comes up next after this young woman. 23-year-old Irena Novotna from the Czech Republic, just starting. As Mari Lampinen comes into the range. In 3rd place on the podium in the first sprint, missed 1 shot, lying down as she is now. And that was a new personal best for her in Sweden. First miss, I'm afraid. And switching to number 1, this is Olga Melnik in for the 2nd round of shooting. She's done the central loop. Starting right this time. Started left when she was prone. That's a miss at 12 o'clock. So 9 out of 10 for Olga Melnik, and she now does 150 meters. You can see she's not alone in the penalty loop. Into the range. 18, this is Corinne Neogray. Not yet at full strength. If you were with us on Thursday, I was explaining then she was in a Continental Cup race, that's the graduation competition, collapsed, that's about a week ago. Obviously recovered and okay, but her coaches know that she's not at full power yet. And these are very tough trails round the Hольmenkollen hill. You're looking at the world bronze medalists in this discipline, shooting now, looking for 5 out of 5. And Neogray, that will cheer her up no end. She dropped a couple of shots in Sweden in the first sprint. Conditions very difficult there, the wind revolving, gusting around. Today, really, there's hardly an excuse for missing a shot. And all these racers who, now having experienced these trails, know how tough they are, a little bit wiser as to how to reduce their heart rate as they come into the stadium. They've just got to take that little bit more time. The leader of the race so far, Уши Дизль, in for the 2nd shoot. Now the target she's aiming at now is a little bigger. It's 115 centimeters, the diameter across it, so something like the saucer underneath your morning cup of coffee or tea. This is good shooting by Dizlь. And that's excellent. 10 out of 10. And that really has put the pressure on now because she's in good form in terms of the skiing. Comes round, we'll get a check on her time to see the advantage that she's got over Melnik. And 50 seconds, the advantage. Ann Brian for France, second time shooting, chasing Dizl. One shot missed, as you can see there, at 2 o'clock. So Brian coming up to the time of Dizl. So she's through, but she's now, well, I think she's going to be 45 seconds off the pace. So the last loop plus 150 meters, and in that she's got to make up 45 seconds on Уши Дизль. That's a tall order. 23-year-old Ann Brian now. Dropped 5 shots in the first sprint and dropped 6 shots last Thursday in the 15 kilometers. So shooting is really a problem for her at the moment. And there you go, at 300 meters. That's almost a minute's worth of extra skiing. That's how crucial it is to be accurate in the sprint. Now Mагдалена Валлин, the winner last Thursday of the 15 kilometers, despite dropping 2 shots lying down, as she is now. Interesting plan, going for inside left. And that's a miss. And 2 misses for Wallin. Very, very costly. But the one thing in her favor, she's a former cross-country skier and a very, very good one indeed. She has got faster speed over the snow. And I suppose it's fair to say if anybody can afford to drop a shot, Mагдалена Валлин would be one of that elite group. Now, Sikveland. Only 28th in the world rankings last year, so at the moment doing a little bit better. Just about to start there, Hildegunn Mikkelspass for Norway. So 1-1 for Sikveland. Now here's Dizl. You can see how hard these hills are. She's got over a minute's advantage over Melnick. All the shooting's done, but these are tricky, tough trails that they're on at the moment. Coaches clustered around there watching their protege. Dizl just herringboning up this slope. Now lying down, Natalia Rishenko. Oh, in fact, number 30 is Ina Shekil. Obviously having a problem spotting her today, but Ina, a wonderful charge in the Olympics in the sprint, which left her in 4th place behind Valentina Dzerbe of the Ukraine. Diving across the line, this 24-year-old Kazakh biathlete. But 3 shots missed. She's one of the speedy skiers, but my goodness, she's given herself an almost impossible task now. 450 extra meters to ski 3 times round the penalty loop. On the glide down towards the finish now. Here's Уши Дизль with 200 meters to go. A clean sheet, as you can see, 10 out of 10, no mistakes in the range. Melnik with one shot missed. That's worth some 20-25 seconds. And had she shot clean, Melnik would have been right on terms with Dizl, who takes the lead by 20:09, 20 minutes and 9 seconds, and that's a particularly quick time. That's a very, very quick time for the 7,500 meters. Obviously difficult to compare trail for trail, but Östersund was won in a time of 23 minutes and 46 seconds. Galina Kukleva of Russia, 15th in the first sprint of the season. Kukleva in the top 20 last year. Now, France, Corinne Neogray, second time. I think she's more likely to cope with this 7.5 kilometers than she is with a 15 at the moment, given that she's still short of her top strength. And Ann Brian, teammate of Neogray, coming in to challenge Melnik for second place, which she gets comfortably. 47 seconds behind Уши Дизль, so even though she missed a shot and had to do an extra penalty loop, Ann Brian really would not have caught Уши Дизль, skiing slower than the German who leads the World Cup rankings at the moment. Stacey Woolley of the United States from Newbury, New Hampshire. Really a good start to the season for this American. Got some good points on Thursday for finishing 14th when she just dropped a single shot. But the last one going awry at 1 o'clock, not such a good performance at the moment. But the Americans with quite a useful group of biathletes. And the Americans with just as many financial problems in supporting their squad as most of the European countries have, perhaps with the exception of the Germans and possibly the French. Now Natalia Permiakova. You can see coming up to the time of Уши Дизль, but she hasn't yet taken the second shoot. So if you say 5 at 10 seconds each shot, that would be a minute and a half. That's the sort of deficit she's got already. Permiakova from Minsk. One World Cup. Oh, and that's really wild. That's way off at 12 o'clock. So what an awful first marker. Just a little bit too hurried. Won a sprint in the World Cup 5 years ago and finished 8th in the World Championships. So Permiakova, wild first shot. Good example, you can see Škelbrejde just controlling. Temptation is to come into this stadium too fast. Untangles the poles. Gets ready, and now 54 to go out. This is yet another of this very good French squad. Emmanuel Claret. Back to Škelbrejde. While she gets ready, we switch to Hildegund Mikkelsplass. Eighth in the first sprint, got 2 shots, but those were both standing up. And you can see here, if she squeezed these away quickly, wouldn't be too far away from Уши Дизль. Everyone will get a cheer. Speeding up. Snatched just grabbed at the last one, and that's the error. 26, just going out of the stadium there. Florence Babarel dropped one shot, as you can see. Babarel, certainly a name in the notebook. I can't believe that she's not going to achieve a major medal before her career is over in this sport. Slovenia's Andrea Grasic. Well, it was a nightmare for her in Sweden. She was 80th at the end of the race, having dropped 7 shots. Incredibly, 4 of them lying down, 3 standing. And this, the young woman who actually finished 6th in the World Championship. So she is certainly capable of much better than she showed at the beginning of this season. Missed there. Looked to be at 5 o'clock, that one. And another mistake. That was at 3. So just going right with those 2 misses. Grasic, who was the 8th best biathlete of last season. That was a very, very good year for her. Her best World Cup season so far. Now, not to get too confused, this is Liv-Grete Šельbrejd, currently 15th in the World Cup, and finished 4th in Sweden at Östersund, dropping just 1 shot. Confidence looks strong here. Taking the breath and holding. Really good, solid base. Oh, very good. That's an excellent shoot. She's not ahead of Уши Дизль. And she's not going to be ahead of Ann Bриan. But Bриan dropped a shot. So Šельbrejd looking to try and a clean sheet. So did Babarel drop a shot. Woolley had a bit of a nightmare as well. Or you can see that Stacey Woolley across the snow. That's a very respectable skiing time for the American. 20.6 seconds off the pace. So the situation, as you can see, this is the situation after the first round of shooting. Уши Дизль, the leader at that point, and as we already know, she's finished her race, and at the moment she holds the lead. Now, Paramighina currently 2nd in the World Cup rankings. The 30-year-old biathlete from Belarus, who began her World Cup challenge this year with a victory in Oslo, in Östersund, I should say, on Swedish snow. Shot clean, skied fast. Good start. You see the difference between the biathletes, which way they choose to shoot. Little unsettled now, Paramighina. But experience telling here, not allowing herself to rush. This is very good self-control. That's good. Many would have panicked at that point. Look at Belе for Germany, really throwing down a gauntlet to her own teammate. She could be on terms. Yes, she's going to be on terms. So Petra Belе right on terms with Уши Дизль as Paramighina comes out. You can see she's not faster than either of the 2 Germans. 16 seconds, that's not impossible. But look at number 50. That's the racer we're looking for at the moment. Here she comes, Petra Belе from Villingen, wife of Jochen, the cross-country skier. So, are we going to see a German 1-2? Very, very possible. There's still a few favoured racers to come. We'll take a short break, and then we'll be back.
Eurosport Live.
Second visit to the range for Hildegunn Mikkelsplass of Norway. But that drop shot, that extra 150 meters at the first loop, that's really knocked her back. Got to shoot clean today, particularly with Уши Dizlь having shot clean and Petra Belе clean at the first shoot. This is Elena Petrova from the Ukraine, from Sumy. One missed, so that's one at each phase, so that's 300 meters given away, best part of 50 seconds. Petrova, who was 9th in the Östersund sprint at the beginning of the season, 21st in the World Championships, yet to reach the podium in any of the major biathlon competitions, either World Cup or World Championships. Well, it was a crisp morning here. -7, the air temperature, -9, the snow. It's warmed up considerably since then. Air is just about -4 degrees at the moment. Now Lif-Grete Schjelbred, you can see, first time, no problems. Now she's come into the stadium here. Look at the clock of Dizlь underneath there. She's almost on terms, but she's got to shoot and get out of the stadium. So even if she does this speedily, she's, well, a good minute behind. And she's not going to be ahead of Brian either, currently in second place, or she was at this particular point. Miss at 12 o'clock there, that's a setback. And a miss at 1 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock. Well, whatever hopes she might have had, now dashed, because not only is she a minute behind on the snow, she's another 50 seconds behind as a result of those 2 missed shots. You can see the ranking there: Dizlь, Brian, Dulova, Babarel, Melnik and Zellner. But remember, that's only the state of play at this particular point. Uşi Dizlь in very good form. Paramighina. Well, she's certainly going to have to run like a rabbit if she shoots clean here. Remember, she was very, very controlled the first time she came to the range. Obviously, not 100% certain, but she didn't panic. She's trying to win the season-long World Cup, and she's experienced enough to know that if she can't win, points for coming 3rd or 4th, better to get those than throw her chance away for perhaps the whole season by getting nothing. But this is much quicker. Well, what a difference standing up, which is arguably the more difficult. That's a superb shoot. So Paramighina on the chase now to Uşi Dizlь. Belе now. This will be really interesting because you can see that Petra's not as quick as Uşi over the snow. Belе 21 seconds, she's got 100%. So Paramighina now 21 seconds off the pace. That's her target, that's what she's got to try and make. And Belе wearing bib number 50, here she is coming through now. She's 8 seconds behind Dizlь. So that's all that Petra Belе has to find. 8 seconds in the last 2,000 meters. And Paramighina has to find 21.3. Brian, we now know, down the order, and Belе and Paramighina should stay ahead. So what a finish in prospect now, and there's still, of course, Emmanuelle Claret for France out on the course. She's got a major chance. Sylvia Carden for Germany from Altenburg, home of the famous bob track. Good junior, trying to make a name for herself amongst the seniors. 5th a couple of seasons ago in the Junior World Championships. A miss at 7 o'clock, though. Just watch the breathing. Holds, squeezes away, breathes, holds. And that's unlucky. Just a miss at 9 o'clock. But this all part of the education, and the Hольменколлен, one of the tough stadiums in the biathlon tour. Signe Trosten for Norway. See just by her left hand the 2 clips. Again, very controlled and getting 5 out of 5. 54, Claret standing up. 1 shot missed. Can't afford another one. Oh, and that's it. That's her chance of a podium gone. Wild at 10. And Claret, 12th best biathlete of last season, currently 4th in the World Cup rankings. Drops 2 shots as she did in Sweden, and her chance is gone now. Paramigiana, who was 20-odd seconds off the pace, chasing Ann Brian's time. And remember, Belé is faster than Paramigiana. Belé, 30. This is Paramigiana. Paramigiana 13 seconds off the pace. Or, I do apologise, the clock's there quite confusing, but Belé, who was 8 seconds off the pace now, is 13 seconds off the pace, so losing time to Уши Дизль. .56, Appel. Germany. Outside the points, having finished 32nd in the first of this season's sprints. Only the first 25 score points, so that's 3 shots in all dropped from her, and 450 meters. You can see tall racer with a lot of leverage. Appel, who also dropped 5 shots on Thursday, so that's certainly one area where she's got to improve. Dizl, Briand, Duleva, Bavarel, Melnik and Neogray. But of course, that's not a true reflection of the race. It's only when Belé and Paramigiana come into the stadium that we can really tell the state of the competition. Now looking for Paramigiana. So Paramigiana going through, but still with over 200 meters to go to the finish line, past the time of Belé, now chasing 20:57. Now she should be able to do this. She should be able to get ahead of Ann Bриan. Looking for another podium finish. Remember, she was the winner in Sweden. Had 10 out of 10 there, a clean sheet, and she's done that again in terms of the range. So it's just the speed across the snow, the difference between her and Уши Дизль. Coming up to push Ann Bриan into 3rd place, which she does now, 32 seconds over the time of Dizl's. And now Petра Беле coming in now as well, and she's quicker than Paramigiana. Paramigiana now only holding on to 2nd place momentarily. Belé, who was 8 seconds off the pace, like Paramigiana, has found nothing on Dizlь, but good enough to hold on at the moment. So Germany, Germany, Belarus. Well, one of the seediest citizens on the tour, but this is the way it stands at the moment. The race not over yet. Dizl looking good. Well, she is yet to win this season. This might be her day. Petra Belе in second place. And you can see there's Nathalie Santerre. She's got tremendous problems with her shooting at the moment, as does Andrea Grasic of Slovenia. Those two women very talented, good skiers, but it's their shooting which is letting them down at the moment. Well, we're going to take a pause and help to pay the rent, and then we'll be back for the finish of the race.
Eurosport Live.
Well, as the Norwegians tell the tale of their round of the Hольmenkollen, it looks a really good day for Germany here in the sprint, with a 1-2, a gold and silver for Petra Belе in the silver medal position, but teammate Уши Дизль notching up her first victory of the season and enhancing her World Cup position. She leads, of course, before today's race. There are still quite a few out on the course. This is the last to start, Gunnar Andreasen for the Norwegian team. She's coming to the range for the first time. Comparison with Уши Дизль, who's already done her morning's work, 7 minutes 30.4. So Andreasen technically now a minute behind. First shot good. That gives you just an idea what a crisp day it is. Lovely day, blue sky, beautiful conditions. Andreasen shooting well, this 22-year-old Norwegian. And that's good. She's been third in World Cup sprints. That was in 1994 at Bagestein, where she was, as I said, on the podium there. And she was also a member of last season's Norwegian winning team in the World Championships in the team event. And she also got a bronze with them in the relay. So Andreasen, that'll cheer her up quite a bit, but you can see she's slow in the skiing department. 55 seconds behind Уши Дизль at this particular point, and you can't afford to give that sort of time away. But of course she doesn't have the background or the experience that Dizl has. Dizl, an extremely experienced athlete and very, very talented. Not exactly the thousands of spectators we expect at the Hольmenkollen for the ski jumping, but there promises to be a lot more tomorrow when the relays are in action, and King Harold expected to support those. 72, Petra Trocca for Italy. Well behind on the clock already, as you can see, and 3 shots dropped in the first sprint of the season. So far she's made 1 error. Now you could see she just wasn't really quite steady, the breathing not controlled. She might miss more than 1 as well. Hope not. Yeah, just at 5 o'clock. Well, the last one, many would have been tempted to rush it. At least credit for that. She held on, but 300 meters to ski for her. Of course, the men will be in action in the sprint. The 15 kilometers. Relays tomorrow, but a long way to go in the Rogas World Cup. After the Hольmenkollen, the Christmas holidays, but in January they'll be at Anholts, scene of the World Championships last year, and they then go to Slovakia for round 4 and Pokluka for round 5. But the World Championships in Ruhpolding, the major date in everybody's biathlon calendar. Svetlana Petrskaya for Russia. Well, so far going a lot better than she did in the first sprint of the season, where she dropped no less than 5 shots. That's 2 minutes 15 seconds of extra skiing, but that's one mistake, I'm afraid. 12 o'clock miss. Keeping to our plan, though. You can see when they miss one, they don't go for that target again. She moves out to the right in her pre-planned method of shooting at the 5 targets. So her chances of staying in the top 10 now really diminished because of that mistake. Slipping down the order all the time. Just really knocks your spirits down when you make a mistake. You can see she's coming out of the penalty loop 1 minute and 28 behind. Oh, looks good, doesn't it? Wonder what it is. That's the sort of Norwegian morning at the Hольmenkollen. Still, calm, quiet, lovely. Nice day to be up at the ski site. Well, there are a few supporters. Sun just beginning to warm the temperatures a little bit, but not an uncomfortable morning. Still a few to come home, of course, but looking down the order and going on the form guide this season, unlikely that this order is going to be disrupted. Уши Dizlь still at the top of affairs, ahead of Petra Belе for Germany. And then Sветlana Paramygina of Belarus in 3rd place. Now here's Trosten, Signe Trosten on the way home, just the last little glide to the 200-meter mark. You can see she's shot well, 10 out of 10, no problems with that. So at least she's given herself a good chance of some fair World Cup points. Remember, 25 score. At the moment she's chasing 23rd place. Now she's chasing 26th place, and what a pity. What a pity for Signe, just out of the points. Disappointing that. Unlike Nordic cross country, where the top 30 score, she ends up 34th, 9 places out of the points. Mallet for Finland. So the honours to Germany. As you can see, the 10-kilometer sprint, you can see that tomorrow morning, with also the women's and men's relays here on Eurosport. But coming up next, the Women's World Cup from down from St. Anton. For now, bye-bye from Oslo.
The Biathlon World Cup